hosted by Zephyr, presented by Realm of the Mist Entertainment.
Hello, citizens of the realm. Welcome back to yet another Press A Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Zephyr, and today I am joined by Wild High 77, otherwise known as Chris.
Fat boy got food.
And I'm also joined by Salem and
Hello.
Dustin from
Hello.
We crawled out of the sock drawer this morning, I suppose.
I told you to buy more freaking Raid, Zephyr.
Yeah, we're a bit of a nuisance, and we just show up everywhere. Weren't you guest appearing with Anthem?
Yeah,
like yesterday?
That was a couple days ago.
We barely do the sock drawer anymore. We just show up on other people's podcasts.
We all kind of get around a little bit here at Realm of the Mist.
Like my ex-wife.
Oh man. The town bicycles gotta come up.
We got kind of a special episode today of Press 8 Gaming. It's the start of it's the end of one decade and the start of a new one. It's 2020.
Zephyr, isn't every podcast that you host a special podcast?
Yeah, but that's a completely different designation. This is a special podcast.
Oh, like the podcast is special,
Now
not the person running it.
Let him talk.
See them climb, watch them drool, watch them fall into a pool that's diving at the Special Olympics.
Oh my god! So what are we talking about? We're bringing in the new year. It's been 18 days since 2020 was born.
We are pretty much going to talk about the last decade of gaming from 2010 all the way up to 2020. All the things that changed and that we saw in gaming culture from 2010 onward.
So,
Loot boxes.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing that happened during the 2010s.
When did loot boxes start? Loot boxes was it was probably after like 2015.
Loot boxes was a relatively recent in terms of like the decade, I guess.
It's
development.
All this microtransaction bullshit started with DLC, and the earliest thing I can think of that had DLC was not part of this whole decade thing.
Right.
That was Halo 2.
You said that, Salem, and now I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to know too.
Well, I know the Loot Crate thing really reached a head in zenith with Star Wars Battlefront 2, which was 2015, so that may be why somebody was thinking 2015. But
that would be me.
But I would
all I know is
definitely
before that I didn't get asked for $5, Mom. I need another $5, Mom.
Oh yeah. So that's
actually, according to, and this is the Wikipedia page for loot boxes, so maybe accurate.
Okay.
Loot box concept originated from loot systems in massively multiplayer online role-playing games and from the monetization of free-to-play mobile gaming. First appeared in the about 2004 to 2007. And really popularized during the mid 2010s.
So it still comes into play because it became a very common occurrence.
But they didn't. Yeah, they were mostly relegated to mobile, I guess, until they hit the mainstream with the 2010s.
Mobile and massive multiplayer online. Basically, at that point, you're talking about like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Okay. So loot boxes are definitely a thing that I just wanted to jump right into and talk about for the last decade of gaming. My favorite thing in the world, spending money on shit that I don't need. Oh wait, I'm not Dusty.
Hey.
Now I was going to say, as far as things that the 2010s brought to gaming, loot boxes is not my top favorites.
I
not even in my top favorites.
There's a lot of just horrible shit that has come into gaming within the past 10 years that I don't know. I'm gonna try my best to avoid that on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean the bad stuff definitely has to at least get touched on because it's significant to the decade.
Well, why don't we jump in? I'm pulling a McMurray on you. I'm sorry, buddy.
You need to
McMurray.
Go ahead, Zephyr.
Fuck yourself, McMurray.
Well, see, I definitely think we should talk about the bad before going into the good, because obviously this decade had both in gaming. Loot Crate was definitely bad. Another one that really annoyed the piss out of me with it, with a lot of games nowadays, or in the past decade, was the more and more common occurrence of taking a game and splitting it up episodically.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Example.
I mean, some people like the episodic game structure. I personally dislike it because it's like.
Are we talking like the Walking Dead game, that in an episodic fashion?
Yes, but I'm also thinking that because of that, it's picked up in ideas of other gaming, like for example, even though it's not in the decade, but just for modern example, the remastered Final Fantasy VII that's coming, they're going to release it episodically. So that way you get the joyous spending money over and over and over again to buy the fucking whole game.
I get it. I see what you mean now. It's like them coming out with 4 Halos and then putting them all together in the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Because they're all just on the one thing. If you feel like switching from Halo 2 to Halo 4, you can do that. Just right in the same screen. Woo! I actually like the whole taking the disc out, putting the other disc back in kind of thing. I'm actually not a big fan of this whole download straight onto the device thing that games are doing, where you don't even need a disc anymore.
My personal feelings as far as like the episodic, I prefer the game to be whole in and of itself. So I don't really like the episodic structure.
What is this, 1995?
I would not consider Halo the Master Chief Collection to be episodic because they weren't planning on releasing Halo Master Chief Collection from the get-go.
Nah, I'm just being salty.
Halo also predates this decade.
It does. Well, Halo itself, it does. But, I mean, I was just, like, 2 days ago playing Halo Reach again. Because it was that good. And Halo Reach was within the decade. Halo Reach came out in 2011.
Yes, it did.
And, my God, I went back to that game. Because I've been playing recent games with the newest graphics and all that fun stuff. I've actually also been looking at some of the games that are coming out, such as Cyberpunk 2077 with these amazing
wait
they're coming out.
Oh,
I'm actually
gotta get that one.
I'm gonna pull up a list of games released in 2010.
Yay! We came prepared.
We're gonna read some of these off, and
what, nerd boner over them,
and kind of compare and see how far we've come.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you right now, every single battle royal is garbage and trash that should be deleted from history.
Well, I mean, by see how far we've come, I mean
every
there's a
single.
There's a lot of games on this list that are parts of a series, and I think people will be surprised to find how many installments we are ahead of where we were in 2010.
Okay.
So let's see. Starting from the top of the list, we've got Divinity 2, Ego Draconis.
No,
Bayonetta was released on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2010. Darksiders.
Okay.
Fable 2, the Game of the Year edition.
Yay, Fable.
We got Matt Hazard, Bloodbath and Beyond. I have no idea what that game even is.
Nope.
Must not have left an impression. Assassin's Creed 2 Discovery.
Please destroy the Assassin's
for iOS. Chronos Twins DX for WiiWare. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney episodes 1 through 4. VVVVVVV.
What?
Yeah, it's a Windows game. It's a platformer where you kind of have to change your perspective to do things. I have it on Steam.
It's got the name of my cell phone on vibrate. The hell?
Let's see. We got Vancouver 2010.
Yay!
I don't even. Oh, okay. It's a Winter Olympics game.
I'm glad it's all uphill from here, guys.
It's by Sega.
Oh wow, Sega!
Wake me up when we get to 2011.
Yeah,
Army of Two, the 40th day. Yeah, when we get to 2011, Skyrim.
Ooh.
Oh yay!
The first time Skyrim was released.
Oh boy. How about we cliff notes this bullshit? Can we do that? Can we cliff notes this shit?
I'm gonna cliff notes this. I'm gonna see some of the more important. Silent Hill: Shattered Memories.
Okay.
Oh my god! Released PlayStation 2.
It's Centralia, Pennsylvania simulator. Go ahead.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I forgot that they were still releasing PlayStation 2 game 2010.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
The Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were like brand spanking fucking new.
Well, that was a decade ago, so.
Yeah. And now we're moving on to like
get your fucking canes, your walkers, and your little blue pills, everybody.
Now we're moving on to PlayStation 5.
Leave the fucking blue pill alone.
Whatever Xbox is gonna be.
Scarlet, I think.
I really hope it's Xbox 2. I really hope it's Xbox 2 because that's gonna be hilarious.
Gotta love Microsoft and how they number shit.
No, it's gonna be
2000
Xbox 720.
Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Chris,
This is gonna be Xbox 1 million.
You'll love this one. Star Trek Online released February 2nd of 2010.
Live long
I
and
used
shut
to
the
play
fuck up.
that.
That game is that old, really?
Yep.
Wow.
We got Mass Effect 2.
BioShock
2.
There's a good game.
Super Monkey Ball for the step and roll for the Wii.
There's a shit game. I mean, sorry.
Let's see, what else do we got here?
That's a nice game. I liked that game. Was that the game where you had the person running down the track and you had to use the Q, the W, the O, and the P?
No, that was Quap.
Oh, that's right. Quap.
Quap was absolutely a 2009-2000 thing, but that was a browser game.
Hey, will you guys keep it down? I'm trying to play VVVVVVVVV.
Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, Battlefield Bad Company 2.
We're definitely back a decade ago. Let's.
Can we talk about the most important game?
Final Fantasy 13.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just Final Fantasy 13. Not 13-2, not Versus 13. Oh wait, that never came out.
Well, we could definitely talk about the most important game of 2010.
Oh fuck.
New Vegas.
Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
I'm sorry. I heard New Vegas. And now I got a boner.
Yes, the most important game that released in 2010 was Fallout New Vegas.
Fuck yeah, you don't fuck with your mailman. That is the angry mailman.
I haven't seen it on the list yet, so we're getting there. God of War 3 for the PlayStation 3 released in 2010. Dragon Age Origins Awakening released.
That was a DLC.
That's a good game.
Good evening, everybody. You are listening to Press A Gaming, the List podcast.
Stop.
I'm getting there, okay? There's a lot of fucking games on this list, okay?
There's a lot of games that came out in the last 10 years.
This is just 2010.
Exactly. And if that's just 2010, we've got 10 more years to go, 9 more years to go. Hang on. Yeah. So I think we should really focus on the biggest staples that we had in the last decade, and not look towards Vancouver Winter Olympics.
Oh, look, there's a critically acclaimed title list.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
All
Critically
right,
acclaimed. That was a good Avenged Sevenfold song.
Super Mario Galaxy 2 from Nintendo for the Wii. Mass Effect 2. The original Red Dead Redemption.
That was actually a really good game. No, you can all you want. Red Dead Redemption was a good
2,
fucking
Wings
game.
of Liberty. Fucking Rock Band 3. Xenoblade Chronicles. Halo Reach.
Well, it's 2010.
September 14th, 2010.
Yeah, my bad. I thought it was 2011. 2011 is when I was like really into that game.
The Cataclysm edition of release of World of Warcraft.
Ew.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out.
Ew.
Borderlands Game of the Year edition came out 2010.
Okay.
We had Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker for the PlayStation 3 portable.
Ugh.
Okay. Does anyone fucking know what the plot of Metal Gear is? Can anyone tell me the plot of Metal Gear?
That is an entire episode in and of itself.
I can tell you they plotted the original Metal Gear. I'm talking like the 8-bit Nintendo Metal Gear, but after they started going PlayStation and really fucking
boomer.
weird, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up, millennial.
Yeah,
And I'm Gen X, dick.
Just say, we're Gen X.
Okay, Xer.
All right, that's pretty much the big names there. Other than a couple weird ass pinball games.
All right, everybody, get your iron helmet on. Go ahead and get your dragon slaying swords ready because Skyrim is here in 2011. Oh boy, here we go. All right, and that's the Skyrim talk. Moving on.
Yeah, I used to be heavily into Skyrim, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
I want to see if they have a line of the release dates.
You know what we can really do here is understand that 2011 was the start, or should I say the pinnacle, of gaming memes.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely. I think it all kicked off with the whole arrow to the knee bullshit. I really believe that.
So if I go back in a time machine, get rid of 2011 games, the memes go away.
Not memes in general, just the gaming memes.
Let's see.
And
Skyrim was released in 2011, again in 2016, and again in 2017.
Woohoo! Oh my god, I'm so happy. Let's talk about another 2011 game.
It's one
What
of
is
the
it? Can
few
we
games
pause?
that can keep getting released.
Can we pause? Can we pause for a minute and stay on Elder Scrolls for a minute? Because it seems like that's the horse they keep beating. Because not only do they constantly re-release Skyrim with special edition, super special edition, and VR edition, they're kind of doing it with ESO too. Like every time you turn around, they're releasing another fucking fully $60 fucking edition of Elder Scrolls Online, just to give you a couple more fucking online quests.
Because dumbasses like you will continue to buy it.
A friend of mine was ranting about that on Facebook today.
Yeah, I can't play with my friends anymore. There are 2 expansions ahead of me.
Well, that's the thing. I literally like a couple months ago just bought Somerset, and I know they're releasing Elsewhere, and now they're already announcing one for Skyrim in ESO.
Oh, jeez.
I thought Skyrim was already in ESO. Skyrim was in vanilla ESO.
It's in there, but they're releasing a DLC expansion pack, whatever, specifically for Skyrim in ESO, for the Skyrim area. And I guarantee it's going to be another $60, and you have to have all the previous or whatever, like they've been doing. Like they have been beating Elder Scrolls to death. Like everybody right now is all pissed off about Fallout first on Fallout 76, but Bethesda's been fucking nickeling and diming the shit out of people with ESO for years.
Wait, you think we don't know that?
And
we don't know that.
Playing.
Yeah, they don't. People don't care. You've got people who literally will buy the legendary set with all the stuff just to put it on a shelf and let it collect dust because they're collectors. Those are the people that Bethesda rely on. You got your people that will just play the game because, oh, whatever, I'll just buy it and play it again on the new system, whatever. I would love to play Skyrim in virtual reality, blah blah blah. But then you got people that will literally just buy it because they collect it.
There's definitely a thing that changed the face of gaming in the decade. VR.
Yeah, we were all sitting there going, "Oh, virtual reality is going to be the greatest thing in the world," and is it?
VR was like in its infancy with in 2010, in the start of the decade. Like we had
Incorrect.
Stuff,
Incorrect. You had the late
it.
80s, early 90s. You had Nintendo's Virtual Boy.
That was not even close to virtual reality.
That was the infancy stage of virtual reality, as far as home console gaming.
That was a headache on a stick.
So is the Power Glove, but it still fucking counts.
But in any case, we were starting to get toward the nitty-gritty of what we have VR today, with stuff like the Kinect and PlayStation Move, of using not a traditional controller, of actually using your body as the controller. And that led into VR later in the decade with Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR and the Vive.
See, I would argue, and this would be in the decade, within the decade anyway. I would argue the closest thing to bringing us true ER, or at least to the stage that VR is at now, I would argue it's the Nintendo Wii, the original Wii.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, because that started the whole motion control thing that the Kinect and the PlayStation Move were following suit with. Because the Wii was just like, let's do motion controls, and next thing you know, the Wii sold really fucking well, and Xbox and PlayStation are looking over at the Wii going like,
we gotta step up our game.
They're just printing money.
Jokes.
Next thing you know, PlayStation and Xbox are putting out new motion control games of, here, check out the Xbox Kinect.
Competing video game companies have been copying each other since the dawn of fucking Tetris.
Oh, hell yeah.
But,
I will fully admit that that's a thing, but Chris is right. The Wii started that. And that's before the decade even started, because the Wii was released in
2006, I think.
Yep, 2006. Its official lifespan is listed as 2006 to 2011, and then for the original Wii, and then they've got two different model numbers beneath it that were 2011 to 2013, and then in 2012 to 2017.
But still, the Wii had quite a lifespan.
Yes, it did.
And technically, you can actually elongate the Wii, because the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii games. Mm-hmm. If anything, you could argue that the Wii was extended the life period of the GameCube, because you could play GameCube games on the Wii.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing that Nintendo has almost always included backwards compatibility.
Yeah, until the Switch.
But that was by virtue of the fact that it was completely different hardware. You can't put a disc in it, and they're moving back to the cartridge model that they had for their mobile.
I feel bad. I don't know anything about really the Wii or the Wii U.
I actually used the Wii a lot when I was younger.
The Wii U did not do as well as it did. Like, the Wii sold like hotcakes. The Wii U did abysmally, and so they focused on the 3DS for a little while, and then they released the Switch, and the Switch sold like hotcakes again. They struck lightning. Lightning struck twice, apparently, for Nintendo.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. The Wii U was a great... I'm looking at my Wii U right now, and it was... That sounded way dirtier than I intended it. When
Yep,
it came out of my mouth.
I was sitting there, freaking fingers on the zipper, going, "Here we go! It's going to be one of these podcasts."
We would like to play.
That came out way dirtier than intended. But no, I'm looking at the system, and I'm looking at the Nintendo Switch right next to it, and it's like the Switch is what the Wii U was supposed to be. I think the Wii U was just kind of before its time. In a sense, like it was a trial run to get to where they are now with the Switch.
Yeah, the Wii U was definitely what the Switch was supposed to be, what the Switch is, and it didn't get there. Don't get me wrong, I loved when the Wii U, how that there were some games that the Wii Pad would link with the game, and you could do other things on the Wii Pad and still play the game while using other things on the pad. Like in, I think it was the Arkham Asylum or whichever Arkham game they released for the Wii U.
Arkham Knight, I think.
You could pull up the mini map on the screen.
That actually sounds. That's a good concept. How come I've never even bothered looking into like a Wii U or a Switch or anything?
Because you're too caught up in the mainstream games that happen on the PlayStation and Xbox that a lot of people forget about Nintendo. They write them off as the family console, and they're doing some innovative shit on their consoles.
When the Wii U released, it was very under advertised. Because it had all of those capabilities that games could do, like weird shit with the pad, and they didn't advertise that capability. Like, it was capable of doing all that weird shit with the pad that Microsoft actually released a bunch of advertising for this thing that they were doing for their games called Microsoft Glass.
Yep.
And it was, you were going to be able to link up with games
and have something. App.
Yep, and have something for your game on your little iPad or whatever Microsoft tablet that you had for your game, and you could have like it linked up, and it would have things like the mini map or an inventory screen or whatever. And Microsoft did that in direct response to the Wii U. And they ended up spending a whole ton of money on advertising that they didn't even need because nobody even paid attention to the Wii U whatsoever.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Microsoft Glass ended up not going anywhere because none of the game developers thought that they needed to do anything with it. I'm pretty sure the only person who touched it was like Rockstar for GTA.
What the fuck would you need Microsoft Glass for Grand Theft Auto?
Minimap.
No, the minimap is right there on the fucking game.
Yeah, but you could have a bigger minimap right next to you.
Wow, great. You know what I hate? Minimaps.
I don't know. Without minimaps, I would get lost in WoW all the time.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, ouch.
I'll go back to sitting here quietly.
Yeah, I've noticed that somebody is relatively quiet in this whole video games of the decades discussion. I wonder why. What's the last video game you've played? Was it World of Warcraft?
Witcher 3.
Oh, wow. Witcher 3. Why don't we talk about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt?
That's actually within this decade. That's more recent. We're still working our way up past the early teens.
Are we, Zephyr? Are we?
Yeah, I think
or are we?
We're still talking about the Wii U, man.
That's true.
Well, why don't we get Dusty on the conversation? Because let's face it, I don't think you're going to find yourself anywhere else in this video game conversation. Are you a gamer, Dusty? Are you?
This isn't interviewing me.
No, yes, we are definitely in the interviewing Dusty stage of the podcast.
Diablo 3.
Diablo 3.
I love it.
Great.
That's in this decade talk. We just haven't got there yet. I'm waiting to stuff I used to play.
I'm pretty sure Diablo 3 released very close to
Bing.
Wasn't my stuff, was it?
No, that's not you. That was somebody else had a Bing going, which they should turn off.
That was my
release was pretty close to Skyrim because it was released in 2012, initially.
Woohoo!
Then it had its console releases in 2013, and then another release in 2014 for the new generation of console.
You know,
then they released it again in 2018 for the Switch.
You know what's the Diablo 2 that Diablo 3 wish it could have been? Path of Exile.
Yeah, Path of Exile was actually cool.
Does Path of Exile predate the decade though?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I'm having to look up all these releases.
You're welcome. Put you to some fucking work there, buddy. Get that clickety clack going over the microphone. Love it.
Fuck off, McNary.
That's probably why being quiet is I don't know what counts as this decade because I play a lot of old stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty much just kind of throwing punches here and hoping something lands because honestly, Dusty and I play games from
2013. It released in 2013.
I win.
Yes, nice.
So yeah, it was in this decade.
Path of Exile was the answer to Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Path of Exile was actually kind of fun. I played it a little bit to start for a while.
Absolutely was.
It was pretty cool and fun, and
it was exactly what Diablo 3 should have been.
I enjoyed
me a
both.
little bit of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Yeah, that's true too. I love Baldur's Gate.
That top down, I'm gonna walk around and hit things with my sword.
Yep.
Pretty much. I really should play some Baldur's Gate again.
All right, so we've made it all the way up. We've made it all the way up to 2013. Let's see what interesting shit happened in 2014.
Probably nothing. I don't know why 2014 just seems like it never happened to me.
We've got The Sims 4.
Okay. Next.
I actually play that.
Five Nights at Freddy's. That dropped in fucking 2014.
Oh, I forgot. 20.
And with the mention of Five Nights at YouTube.
What?
YouTube and gaming, because that was a huge thing for YouTube in the 2010s.
Oh, the whole turning point of people
gaming became the top thing that people went to YouTube to watch, and that led to the creation of stuff like Twitch.
Hell, even Discord.
And Discord and all that directly led to that because people were going to YouTube in droves to watch people play games, be it Minecraft or Five Nights at Freddy's or insert indie game title here. People went to YouTube to watch people play it. It opened the door for indie games to become a viable market in the marketplace of video gaming.
Well, Five Nights at Freddy's in and of itself was shit.
Well, yeah, that's beside the point, though. You can't deny that it has a following. Hey, your Halo the Master Chief released in 2014 as well.
Congratulations to Halo the Master Chief Collection for being a fucking flop.
Why was it a flop?
Well, compare.
Did you try to play the multiplayer when it first came out?
No, because I don't care about the multiplayer.
Because you couldn't play the multiplayer. It was absolutely fucking garbage.
That's because everybody was playing Destiny, which had released a month prior.
Now that was my game.
So Destiny was September 2014, and Master Chief came out in November.
Destiny was the shit.
Sorry, 2 months prior.
Vanilla Destiny fucking sucked, but I sat there loyal and I said, no, you're going to be a good game. And by the time Destiny 2 started rolling out, Destiny 1 was the coolest game ever, and I loved it.
The Elder Scrolls Online.
Nope, we've already passed that topic.
Was released 2014. PT. Does anybody remember PT?
Yes, I remember PT, the game that people were going nuts for because they were they had this demo that they played and it was just like the creepiest thing in the world. I think Markiplier did probably the best video.
That's what PT stood for, was playable teaser. it was a teaser for Silent Hills, the Silent Hill game that was supposed to be helmed by Hideo Kojima. And then it never released because he split from Konami.
Yeah. But PT was definitely something that I just saw way too much of. It was everywhere.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do we got? Some good Titanfall that came out in 2014.
Very
Shovel
underrated
Knight.
game.
Speaking of indie games, Shovel Knight. Wolfenstein: The New Order came out in 2014.
Great game.
Your Telltale Tales from the Borderlands series came out. Your little chapters shit. We got Far Cry 4.
Okay.
Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Okay. The pre-sequel? Isn't the pre-sequel just like...
It comes before the sequel.
Yeah. So it's just...
So you got Borderlands.
It was what happened. It was what happened in between Borderlands 1 and...
Yeah.
Okay, so 1.5 Borderlands. Got it.
Mario Kart 8 Goat Simulator.
Goat Simulator is actually
the way you said that, Zephyr, the way you said that sounded like there was a colon in there. Mario Kart 8 Goat Simulator.
That would be a fun game.
Would have improved the game immensely.
Well, Goat Simulator kept my kids occupied for months.
Occupied?
Occupied.
All right.
You know what? I downloaded it free on Xbox One, and I have no idea. I've never played it.
Oh, it's funny.
You are a goat.
And your tongue
South
sticks
Park:
to
The Stick of Truth.
Excellent game.
Okay.
Oh man. Oh, I popped into 2015 for our next set of games that were released. First on the list, we've got Undertale, another indie game on the list.
What the fuck is Undertale?
Absolutely fucking blew up on YouTube.
What
Undertale.
The fuck is Undertale?
Undertale is an indie game created by a guy who goes by Toby Fox.
Okay.
Who used a bunch of the assets from the Mother games to create an entirely new game out of it, based around a bunch of monsters that live underground and a human child that falls into the underground. What made Undertale the smash hit that it was, and that everybody just flocked to this game and made a whole bunch of lore about it, was the fact that it's an RPG that you're actually encouraged to not kill your opponents. Like you're encouraged to solve everything in a non-violent. The game actually punishes you for playing it like a normal RPG.
Well, that sounds like a very old game that I think was like around 2005 or even later. Abe's Odyssey. The whole entire game was non-violence. They wanted you to not get involved in any form of violence whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the Undertale's got 3 routes you can take. You've got the genocide route, which is you just play it like a normal RPG, slaughtering everything in sight. The neutral route, which is you try to stick by the pacifism, but if you accidentally kill somebody, it's not a huge deal.
It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everyone commits murder from time to time.
Then you have the true pacifist route, which is considered the actual ending of the game. And that's where you don't kill anyone. You make it all the way through, haven't killed anybody, haven't managed to die because you've been killed by something else, and make it all the way to the end of the game and beat the final boss, and you've considered that you've won.
Wow.
And you get the true pacifist ending, which is actually pretty cool. I like the story of Undertale. I actually play it again. I play it through every once in a while. I, to this day, have not finished a genocide route because the final boss for the genocide route is fucking bullshit. And
here we go.
He pretty much actively cheats. Like, not even kidding. Actually actively cheats.
Is the boss at the end Sans?
Yes, the boss at the end of the genocide room. He actively cheats. He dodges every single attack you throw at him until you get to a certain point in the fight, in which case you actually manage to land a hit. He dies in one hit. He doesn't have all that much hit point, but good luck surviving them.
Well, looks like you just gotta make up a tank build then and say, all right, let me just eat everything you can throw at me and just bip. But I don't think that's that kind of game, now, isn't it?
No, because there's no grinding in Undertale. Once you kill enough people, the people just stop showing up.
Well then,
there's no grinding. The game, like I said, the game punishes you for playing it like a regular RPG.
That sounds decent though, you know.
It's a great game, but really you are only going to go for the genocide through completion. Oh, and I should note that if you do the genocide run first, the game remembers.
Okay.
You actually have to go into the game's base code and fuck with shit in order to make it so you can actually get a true pacifist run if you do the genocide first. Because if you do the genocide run first, the game remembers and you can't get anything neutral ending.
Actually,
even if you don't kill anybody. The game remembers that you did a genocide and it punishes you for it.
That's just, I don't know. That just sounds like torturing yourself with extra steps.
Anyway. Moving on to the next entry for the 2015 games list, we got Witcher 3, The Long. Dusty, it's your time to shine.
Actually, it really shouldn't be. How long have you played?
No, I just started it yesterday.
Woohoo, she's gotten nowhere.
Oh, really?
I was in it for Christmas.
Who's Siri?
Huh?
Who is Siri?
I literally just started.
See?
And then
Geralt's adopted daughter.
See?
But you would also know that watch the Witcher Netflix series.
I did, but I'm not good with names.
She's not good with names. She's not good with dates. She's not good with faces. She's not good with math. She's not good with...
You have as many concussions as I do, and see how you do.
I like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt because moving into 2020 is a perfect example of video gaming inspiring popular culture. Because you better believe that Netflix would not have picked up The Witcher for a series if it had just been the books. The popularity of The Wild Hunt definitely influenced Netflix in picking up the series. So the show might be based mostly off of the books, but the books themselves did not get themselves picked up by Netflix.
Oh, that's interesting.
I just assumed that Netflix picked them up from the games.
No, they picked them up from the game, but they're following more closely.
Yeah, you okay over there, Chris?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why?
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's you. Are you sure?
He's just holding back because we haven't yet gotten to a game big for him yet.
Has Fat Boy got his food?
Fat Boy ate his food. Now he's going into the food coma. No, no, I like Witcher 3, and I'm finding it interesting that you're talking about because I didn't even know there was a book series to Witcher. But I mean,
oh yeah.
Thus far, nothing has really screamed out to me as like decade-defining games.
Nope.
You know, I offered up one that I thought was, decade-defining, which was New Vegas in 2010. But beyond that, I'm waiting to really have something that really makes me want to be like, oh yeah, that was one of those like turn of the century. When you think of the 2010 era, you're thinking of this game, and we haven't reached that yet.
No, we have, and we're just sick of talking about it. Skyrim, people still play it religiously to this day.
Even on the refrigerator.
You still see memes everywhere about fucking Skyrim. It's everywhere. It was a defining moment game. is still huge.
The game that defines the decade didn't even release in this decade.
Okay, and what game would that be?
Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft is fucking, oh my god.
Oh, I still play it. We just played it last night.
Oh my god.
It released prior to 2010. It has been available to play since 2008. But it is the game that defines our decade, this decade of gaming, because it is behind all of the revolutions that we've seen in gaming this decade. It's behind the YouTube boom. It's behind the Let's Play epidemic. It's behind
epidemic. Don't forget to go over to our sister channel, Sounds Dicey Gaming, where not only can you get role-playing tabletop content, but also video game Let's Plays and playthroughs.
And epidemics.
Fucking epidemic.
Hey, it has to be an epidemic. They call it viral.
They call it what?
I think we lost our host.
I made a joke.
Zephyr? No, we didn't hear it. Something seems to be cutting out for you.
I said, of course it's an epidemic. They call it going viral.
Oh, shut up.
Wah,
like that.
wah, wah.
Shut up.
Look, just because you had a kid doesn't mean you get to make dad jokes on podcasts.
Oh my god.
The system auto-censored me. It knew it was a joke. All right, back to the year we were on, 2015. We got Fallout 4. We've got Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Finally, Fallout 4. Can we talk about Fallout 4 and the pros and cons of Fallout 4?
Please, God.
Yes, we can.
The pro of Fallout 4 obviously was that it was a solid game design. It was the first time Fallout introduced a talking protagonist. Had great concept DLCs. Was also one of the first RPG games that offered a season pass to its DLC, as opposed to buying each individually. You could buy a season pass for like $30 and get all the DLC. And when I say great DLC, I'm talking about the story-driven DLC, because now we go to the negatives. One, they've been abusing the shit out of that game engine for about 20 years. Nothing has changed, even in next-generation console technique. And then the other thing is you wasted half of that fucking Season Pass DLC with crap like workshop and just building material stuff that did nothing. Half of it was always broken.
Mm-hmm.
Which, unfortunately, I think is kind of what makes it decade-defining is, I think, as much as Skyrim... Let's face it, the 2010s were Skyrim's decade. Or not Skyrim, excuse me, Bethesda's decade. It really was. But unfortunately, it was the zenith with Skyrim and the downfall that subsequently followed. Because I love Fallout 4, but Fallout 4 was the beginning of the end of how Bethesda did things right.
You're forgetting a huge first that Fallout 4 had for gaming in this decade. It was one of the first to have mod support on console.
True. That is true. Again, Bethesda was still doing things right, but they were also starting to decline into the things that they will later on in a decade do completely and utterly wrong.
Yep, we had Mortal Kombat X released in 2015.
Decent.
Rocket League.
I don't get the hype over it.
I remember that one was a big one for a little while.
I didn't get the hype over it.
Super Mario Maker released on the Nintendo side.
There's a definer.
That is a game that I love to death, and I've never played it. I watched Ryukar on YouTube play Super Mario Maker religiously.
Super Mario Maker is one of the.
Okay, Zephyr's just dropping.
Yeah, he keeps dropping.
Yeah.
Yep.
All we got is Mario Maker's one of those games, and then you cut out.
Oh, well, I had only gotten that far in the conversation. Super Mario Maker is one of those games that you look at it and you think, how did Nintendo not come up with this concept sooner? Because the whole point of the game is Nintendo. Here, fans, have all of our game making tools and build levels yourself.
And it's wonderful because I mean, you talk about you talk about the YouTubers like Salem was just talking about a YouTuber he watches that plays Mario Maker. I have been watching for years a video game YouTuber named Steven Plays. That's his channel. It's Steven George. And every day he does one level from Mario Maker. He calls it Morning Mario. And he just checks out a fucking different level from, well, obviously he's doing Mario Maker 2 now. But, I mean, he's been doing it since the game dropped. And it's absolutely amazing. Like, not only have I watched YouTubers do it, but I've watched, like, my kids play them because they got both the Mario Makers. I've tried them myself. These games are fucking, like... The best way I can describe them is you remember back in the day on the original PlayStation, there was a RPG Maker.
Yes.
It's RPG Maker for Mario. Is really what it is. And it's phenomenal.
I actually have RPG Maker for my computer.
I think one of the best video game styles, genres, is platforming, and Super Mario, ergo Super Mario Maker, is quite easily one of the greatest tools, one of the greatest games that is really a part of this decade.
Well, if you go that far, Mario really is the icon who brought video gaming in general to the mainstream. I mean, before Nintendo and their beloved mascot, there was video game whole consoles in like Atari and ColecoVision and shit, but they never really had the cultural significance that they've enjoyed since the 8-bit Nintendo. And the first game for the 8-bit Nintendo was
Super Mario. Oh.
So I mean,
I guess
Mario doesn't define a decade. Mario defines the complete gaming culture.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I was talking about Mario Maker in general. The whole build your 2D platformer, which is easily one of the best genres in gaming, is platforming. I mean, some of the biggest games ever are platform games. Castlevania, Mario, even Sonic.
Mega Man, even though we haven't had a decent Mega Man in forever.
But even still, Mega Man back in the day.
We were supposed to this decade, but it got the kibosh put on it.
Like, I love platformers. And hell, even like there are 3D platformers that are really fucking good. Platforming games are dope, and some of the really cool things that you can do just with Super Mario Maker 1, they made it even better in Super Mario Maker 2. But just so many cool things that I've seen watching people play Super Mario Maker, and it's just so much fun. Not even as a gamer, but as just somebody watching someone else play. Somebody who has never played Super Mario Maker, and I love it. I love the game.
Well, one of the major appeals to me, and I imagine to a lot of other people for the Mario Makers, whether it's the first one or this one, is you pay your $40, $50, $60 to get the game, and you never play the same game twice because everybody's out there creating the content. You play their levels, and it's something new and different every single time. And then you start creating levels, you put it out there, and you're changing game experiences for everybody else. It's a game that can continue to live. They didn't even need to release Mario Maker 2. They could have just ported Mario Maker 1 over to the Switch, and it still would be popular today.
But I mean, it's still cool that they did make Mario Maker 2 because they had a whole ton of shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, the longevity and the lifespan of Mario Maker 1 would still be as powerful as it was the day it released today.
Yeah,
if it wasn't for Mario Maker 2.
They totally could have released Mario Maker on the Switch and then just done like a DLC edition to add all the extra shit. But they actually released it as a completely separate game, which I like.
Mm-hmm. Remember when I said I was looking for the decade defining game? This may be it. Mario Maker really was a decade definer.
And this is going to be a strange sentence, but despite the fact that Mario Maker is a game that you are constantly playing something different, something new, it feels so complete.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the list for 2015 games, and I feel like I need to mention it just because it's fucking hilarious. It's definitely not genre or decade defining or anything, but Honey Pop came out in 2015.
What the fuck is Honey Pot?
I never heard of that one.
Honey Pop. It's it is a game that some developer decided that what would happen if I took a visual novel dating sim and slapped it together with a match 3 puzzle game. And Honey Pop is the bastard child. It was hugely popular with the Let's Play community for a little because it was freaking hilarious. The concept of it was just so dumb. Like I said, not decade defining, but I felt like I needed to mention it because that game was hilariously put together.
Didn't the 2K series start up in like 2010? Like 2K everything, like all your sports and whatnot. 2K wrestling, 2K fucking driving games, 2K basketball.
No, I'm pretty sure that started in 2000.
I thought it was 2010s. Because if we're talking about games that just like ruined everything, it's 2K.
I haven't seen any of the 2K games lists for years. So
well, look,
no.
Look, if we're gonna talk about like genre defining for sports games, you can't go past Madden in the 90s. Like cartridge Madden, because since then it's just been regurgitating the exact same shit with updated fucking rosters.
I stopped playing Madden.
I got you another decade defining.
Here we go.
Don't do the there we go. It's a bad decade defining.
That's I said. Here we go.
No Man's Sky released in 2016.
No Man's Sky started off as shit, but look at it now.
Yeah, but it very much it is a look at all of the things that we hate about the gaming marketplace right now. It was an unfinished game that they made all these grandiose promises about what it was going to be and how it was going to be groundbreaking and everything. And it didn't deliver on those promises until about 2 years after its initial release.
Do you know why, Zephyr? Do you know why No Man's Sky was as shitty as it was on release?
Because they rushed it?
Because the developers of the game created a game that they would like, that their dream was, not the dream of the people that would play it.
That happens a lot, though.
Right? That happens with a lot of authors.
I was about to say, too, they're also, you figure they released an unfinished game, and that could be explained in many different situations, especially when you think back to, I hate to use it again, but it's an example that I can use. Look at Fallout New Vegas and how buggy it was when it first released, and it's because you're under a deadline to get that game released.
Which is dumb.
It is dumb, but unfortunately you have investors and everything else that expect the game to release on its release date. You've got to get it out there as it is, and it's dumb. It's absolutely stupid.
As a gamer myself, I would have so much rather seen a delay for the release of the game than what we got as opposed to what we were promised with No Man's Sky.
But I definitely agree with Salem too. It wasn't just like a half completed game because of budgets and time frames, but it was designed to be the game that the developers wanted to play instead of thinking about the mass general audience.
Excuse me.
All right.
Destiny Vanilla sucked, but you know what? It was a game that was created for people to enjoy, and eventually they did.
Decade definers. Overwatch, that game.
I love Overwatch.
On the mobile game side of things, Pokemon Go released in 2016.
And I'm still playing it.
Yeah, fucking A. The first week of Pokemon Go was like the best week, the closest we'll ever get to world peace.
Yep.
The only thing I will give Pokemon Go is it got a lot of fat asses off the fucking couch for a little bit.
It still does.
About
I
6
can't tell you how many
months.
times
really.
I run into people all the time playing
You
with
got
me.
about 6 months of people going, oh yeah, let's do walking and everything with our Pokemon Go, and then they just didn't feel like grinding anymore because they actually had to work for it.
I'm still running into people playing.
And you know what sucks about Pokemon Go is that the grinding isn't even worth it.
No, it's
There's
not.
nothing that is you get shat on in that game for all of the work that you put in, and you're actually putting in physical work. And you know what most people do? What do you do? What do you do when you get up in the car? You put your freaking Pokemon Go off to the side so that you can swipe your stops because you're not walking to where you're going.
I actually walk every week.
Good for you.
I met a nice guy the other day at the park.
With Pokemon Go did have that governor on it that it knew if you were in a car.
Yeah,
it still does.
With Pokemon Go, the first game that the developer of Pokemon Go made, that they pretty much ported everything over to Pokemon Go for all of their data. Ingress. We used to call it cargressing. You would drive around with Ingress open and stop by different portals and hack them and everything while you were driving. So that was nothing new when Pokemon Go came around.
Right, but Pokemon Go would, of course, they disguised it as safety, but they were keeping you from cheating. If you were driving in a car, you really couldn't interact with things as well as you wanted to.
We got 2016 Doom. We got Persona 5.
Oh my God! Wait, Doom. You want to talk about a definer?
Okay, that's annoying.
Okay, calm down, Gur.
Let's talk about Doom because that is a definer. Doom.
Go on.
Doom. A lot of people didn't care for Doom 3 because of how dark it was, and then the genre changed. It slowed itself down dramatically, and the lore of it was kind of wonky compared to the original games. But of course, Doom is a genre definer because there wouldn't be any first-person shooters really if it wasn't for the popularity of the Doom franchise.
I do remember that the launch of the 2016 Doom was pretty big. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah!"
Oh my God, the game.
That sounds like a Duke Nukem
today's graphics.
And then you think about some of the shit that happened with it.
Shit.
Then you think about some of the shit that happened with it. Like, first off, you had narrative, but of course the plot was underlying to just the simple mayhem that is Doom. Run fast, shoot a lot of big guns. But there was some defining things put into that game, and one of the first things that pop into my mind, of course, is the glory kill.
Oh yeah.
For those that don't know, who have never played Doom 2016, the glory kill was you would have an ability to weaken your opponent enough that you would press, I believe it was the right stick button, R3, whatever, and perform a grotesque finish on each and every creature, which also rewarded you with like refilling your health and your ammo, whatever the case may be. But just some of them, and depending on how you were facing the creature when you went to perform the glory kill, changed the glory kill, plus what weapon you had in your hand. I spent the game looking to pull the glory. I didn't even care if I killed the creature as long as I killed him in a glory kill. I was disappointed if they dropped before I could do it.
It sounds like
that sounds very Gears of War, because I remember being able to do like
assassinations,
Lancer kills like that with the original Gears of War. Actually, Gears of War 4 is on this list.
Oh yeah, Gears 4. It's relatively recent. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel right talking about games that are like sequels to a game. Like,
but sometimes the sequels are better.
I mean, sure. I don't know. Like whenever say Borderlands comes up. Borderlands 1 was before the decade, wasn't it? Everything else is really
2008 maybe.
Okay, there you go. So Borderlands 1 came out in 2008, and every other edition of Borderlands is literally just.
It might actually be 2010.
It's I don't know. I'm not exactly a big fan of going with games that
2009. It was a 2009 game.
Was it the later half of 2009? Like, what was the actual month of its release? Because depending, if it's in the later half, it could technically be constituted as a 2010 game. Even though it released in 2009, it was later half of 2009, so its popularity would have come in 2010.
October 2009.
There you go. Most big game releases are in the late 2000 or in the late year.
Then I would argue that it would be a decade definer.
Sounds good to me.
Because it would have hit its stride in 2010.
Can we also mention games that aren't decade definers, but you lost too much time to them and you're ashamed to admit it?
Such as
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone was actually part of the decade.
Yeah, that released.
I'm still losing time to that game.
Oh no, we've hit another bad decade definer. Now that we've gone up to 2017. Well, but we got a couple good decade definers in here too. Fortnite. Fortnite was released in 2017.
So Hearthstone is pretty much just like Gwent. Yeah, Gwent is within The Witcher 3, and Gwent is just a game within a game. I'm completely avoiding Fortnite, please, for the love of fuck.
Well,
I wasn't going to go any further than that.
Thank you.
That's just a thing.
So Hearthstone's better
That's just
than
a
that?
thing you know right now. You know, for listeners of the podcast, that's just a thing. Fortnite came out in 2017.
Woohoo, they already knew that.
You know what else came out in 2017?
I will repeat. Hold on. I will repeat my statement in the beginning of the podcast. Fuck all battle royals. Fuck them all. Go ahead.
Anyway, also came out in 2017. Destiny 2.
Woohoo! That was a good game.
There was an indie game that saw a lot of stuff on YouTube. Actually, two of them right next to each other on this list. You got Bendy and the Ink Machine and Cuphead.
Cuphead, oh my god.
A lot of action on YouTube for Let's Plays.
Bullshit for fucking Cuphead.
The fucking internet blew up with those for a couple of months there.
Oh my god. And you know what? I'm actually glad that Cuphead was the only game that I've seen within the last, 3 or 4 years that have gone back to that old-timey cartoon style, so that, like, a bunch of other games aren't trying to copy the old-timey cartoon style and blah, blah, blah. Oh, Cuphead was really popular with it. We could do it too. I love the old-timey cartoon style, but you could just die at Cuphead. Good enough.
We got Horizon Zero Dawn. That one was a good one. I freaking like.
I'm sure it was.
I hesitate to call it a decade definer because it kind of was super popular when it came out, but then just died after the year was done, and nobody ever talked about it again.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't really want to sit there and waste any of my time watching someone else play Horizon Zero Dawn. So if it's not big enough to stream on YouTube, it's really not.
I've never played it, so I hold no opinion.
Neither do I. Fuck.
It was actually a pretty good game. I liked it. But again, it was not decade defining just because it didn't really stick in the public consciousness very. We got Star Wars Bound.
There's a decade definer, not in a good way. Battlefront 2 was the beginning or the zenith of the loot box and the loot crate scandal.
Yep. And honestly, you kind of have to blame that a year prior on Overwatch, because Overwatch kind of got that whole loot box thing attached to the game going, and EA saw that and was like, oh yeah, fucking cash cow for Battlefield.
I just love the word that you used there, Chris. The loot crate scandal. It's like Battlefront 2 got its cock sucked by an intern.
Nice.
Hey, let's move on to a good decade. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, released in 2017.
Yeah, that
which
one's
also
stunning.
means that 2017 was the release of the Switch
Clap, clap, clap.
as
Clap,
a decade-defining console release.
Well,
Clap.
can we be completely honest and just say that, just like I was saying earlier with Mario, Zelda, I mean, it's almost a given that whatever they release in the Legend of Zelda series, it's gonna be a fucking hit and a definer. I'm sitting here and I'm struggling to think of a game that maybe was like weaker than the other games, but not necessarily but has never been necessarily a failure to Zelda. In some way, shape, or form, every Zelda game has been a hit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
like the closest thing.
Yeah.
The closest thing I could think of is the one with the Phantom Train that was on the 3DS.
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit's Tracks. I think that's the closest thing I can come up with to a Zelda game that just wasn't that good.
I wouldn't know. I haven't played a single Legend of Zelda game.
Oh, they're fun and they're beautiful. The newest one is stunning.
I'm pretty sure that I'm the only one here that's into like weird Steam games that occasionally pop up. But Doki Doki Literature Club in 2017.
Okay.
I've heard of you talking about this before, but it's not something I would try.
I wouldn't play anything that starts with Doki Doki.
You know, that the only reason I tried.
Okay, and then literature.
The only reason I tried is because I was reading the tags on Steam, and horror is one of them.
It sounds like a weeb game. Is it a weeb game?
Kind of.
Define kind of. Is it anime?
It tricks you into thinking that you are just playing a visual novel style game with anime girls, and then it starts with the existential horror.
Oh, that
Okay.
actually sounds interesting.
Don't play Doki Doki Literature Club and Faint Heart because the game actively messes with you.
Great. That sounds like a decent game. Good review. Let's move on.
All right, looking to the next year. We're getting so close to 2020. We got 2018. Starting off, we got Red Dead Redemption 2.
Good game.
Was a big one recently. I wouldn't call it decade defining, but good game.
No.
That's a good game.
Marvel's Spider-Man released in 2018.
From what I understand, I haven't played it, unfortunately, but from what I understand, the first decent Spider-Man game since Web of Shadows, or arguably since Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this recent Spider-Man is the only game that I would consider playing with the name Spider-Man in it.
It was very good. I actually prefer it over Spider-Man game I've ever played. Marvel Spider-Man was amazing. We got the re-release of God of War. I guess
Woohoo.
Would you call that a reboot or like a continuation?
It looks like a completely different game as far as I'm concerned, so I would say that God of War is a standalone.
Okay, because like as far as I was concerned, God of War series and we won. Like, so to come out with another God of War is confusing.
I hope that picked up over the mic.
Shush.
I really hope that picked up over the mic.
Shush.
Sorry.
Guess
I'm
he
sorry,
farted.
Zephyr. Nope.
Anyway, Fallout 76 released in 2018.
Okay.
Again, we have a definer, but it's not necessarily a good one.
Really a good one.
I don't necessarily hate Fallout 76. I played it all the way through. I 100%ed the game. You know, they added a lot of great things to it.
It's a fucking dedication, my friend.
And they did some nice things to it, but then they decided to go and fuck it all up. They decided to add loot crates and play to win things that you weren't supposed to add in. They promised they wouldn't do. And now they want $100 for you to have your own private servers with Fallout First. Literally, remember what I said about Fallout 4 being the beginning of the decline? Fallout 76 is Bethesda hitting the fucking bottom of the barrel.
That's Bethesda beating the horse to a bloody smear.
But you know what? It reminded everybody of John Denver, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Take me home, country roads.
To this day, you start singing it, the entire family, kids and all, do it.
West Virginia!
See, there it goes.
Mama!
Take me home.
Smash Bros. Ultimate released in
I gotta be honest with you, Smash Bros. Ultimate is probably the same
lie of 2018.
Smash Bros. Ultimate is got to be just Smash Bros. 4 with, I don't know, more stages, I guess.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Oh, biggest lie of 2018.
Describe that. Describe
is here except Waluigi.
Except, yeah, Waluigi was never there. That's the thing. Here's the thing. They made Super Smash Bros. Ultimate saying that everyone is going to be in there. What they mean by that is literally everyone that's ever been in a Super Smash Bros. Game. Waluigi has never been in a Super Smash Bros. Game.
I don't care. I love the discourse about it.
That's fine, but it's not a lie.
He's arguing semantics.
I know he's arguing. It's not.
And Salem's just being contrary. That's what he does.
We got Subnautica, Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Trying to look for freaking decade definers
Monster Hunter
here.
World is fun to watch.
I'm sure it's fun to watch, but
can we talk about something that is absent from this decade that I can't imagine why it would be missing? We haven't had one since fucking the Nintendo Wii. Why has there not been a new Metroid Prime or a new Metroid in general?
Because they decided to no longer beat that dead horse.
All right, guys. We're finally here. We're in 2019. Just this last year.
Okay.
The Outer Worlds.
Yep. That's on the list.
And I will say, as somebody who just beat the game is phenomenal. I would say it's definitely the game of its year. But its biggest complaint, too fucking short. And it is literally, Obsidian, I love you. I'm glad you fucking, thumbed your nose at Bethesda. But it really was Fallout in space.
Yep.
So,
well, to be fair, they advertised.
They really did it's Fallout in space. Everything is Fallout New Vegas in space.
Chris, when you say it was too short, define too short.
I did a playthrough on it, which you can find on the Sounds Dicey channel.
Woohoo!
And literally, like, I didn't do all the existential side quests because of the fact that I was playing it blind. I had nothing to follow, guidelines or anything.
Right.
I didn't realize I was coming up to the end of the game. It took me 11 episodes at about an hour to an hour and a half each episode. So put that together, under 20 hours for main story.
Okay. Yeah, that's short.
Yeah, I got the same feelings for another entry on this list for 2019. Kingdom Hearts 3. Fucking loved it to death.
Yeah.
I would call it decade defining because all Kingdom Hearts fans waited for fucking ever for this game. Like to give you some understanding, the last game in the series was prior to this decade. So we waited forever for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. And what we got in 2019, while amazing and super well polished, felt so short. I'm so glad that we have this that I'm super hyped for and can't wait to play. But like, it's felt so short for having waited 13 years for.
Well, there is another one that should be on that list too. Again, something I am playthroughing right now for Sounds Dicey. And quite honestly, I would call it decade defining because since the purchase of Lucasfilm and all subsidiaries by Disney, it is the first arguably decent Star Wars game to ever release, Jedi Fallen Order.
It's actually right next to Kingdom Hearts 3 on this list.
Nah.
I was.
Nah.
But Jedi Fallen Order. I would call Jedi Fallen Order decade defining just on the fact of it shows that EA can learn from their mistakes.
Not really though, because it's not EA. EA is just the publisher. The people who made it is Visceral, or
right.
Not Visceral. Who's the fucking creators of Titanfall? God damn it.
EA learned from their mistakes in that they took their hands out of it and gave it to the developer and just let the developer do what they needed to do. Which is not something that they did with Battlefront 2. EA's hands were all over that game.
You know, I almost feel I do have to defend Battlefront 2 for one thing. Again, it may have been short as shit, but it did have a decent single-player campaign.
Yeah,
now,
true.
As far as its money grab and multiplayer fiascos, yeah, okay, it definitely falls under the bad definition of the decade, but its single-player campaign was actually really, really good, just albeit way too short.
You know, one thing I like about the end of the decade you didn't get at the beginning? Cross-platform.
Yeah, cross-platform. That's a thing that came out recently in the last couple of years.
Because we've just recently discovered Brawlhalla, and you can actually play. I'm on the PC, the kids are on the Xbox, and we're having a great time.
Yep. Crossplay is something we've been calling from the beginning of the decade as gamers. Mm-hmm. Like, I distinctly remember me and my friends in high school or graduating year lamenting that we couldn't play certain games with each other because we had different.
Well, see, I've always argued the point that any game that isn't exclusive to that console or PC, you know, if you will, like Fable's exclusive to Xbox, for example, or you know, Spider-Man is exclusive to PlayStation. Like those, obviously, you can't cross-platform, but games that are on every system known to man, like the first one that comes to mind, like fucking Call of Duty, there's no reason why they didn't cross-platform these decades ago.
And there's nothing more frustrating to console gamers that are my friends to go, hey, wait, you're still on the PC? And now we don't have to worry about that because there's a few games coming out. I would love to see more.
Did you just say that? Did you say you're still on the PC?
Yes, I'm a PC gamer.
There's an entire thing about PC gamers being the best gamers in the world.
It's wrong, but yeah, they do say that.
Everybody I know plays a console, and then there's me.
I was about to say, the only thing I've ever seen for as far as PC gamers being better at it is there's studies showing that in first-person shooters, mouse and keyboard players outperform controller players just about every time. But that's just because we're conditioned as humans that have grown up in the digital age to point and click.
To be fair, though, let's be fair. To be fair, in this world, like we always talk about, like the PC master race versus console fanboys or whatever the case may be. But most gamers play on everything. I mean, I myself have a PC right now, and right next to me I have a Switch, a Wii, a PS4, an Xbox One. You know, and I know there's gamers that are deeper than I am that have fucking, like, you know, throwback systems from way back in the day all set up and lined up. I don't think gamers really break down to they're only PC gamers or they're only console gamers. I think that it's across the board. Whether what you prefer is not in question, but I think, you know, you don't choose one and scorn the other.
That's definitely something that we should definitely touch on that we haven't really covered yet. About this decade is during this decade, gaming really came in vogue. Like gaming is a part of the wider culture now.
Well, they have a bunch of competitions that are just as popular as a lot of sports.
Esports is huge now. And
I don't like esports.
That didn't start until this decade.
Yeah, I don't like esports.
Like we didn't start until like we got Dota and League of Legends starting all the huge esports competitions.
No, incorrect. Incorrect. Halo and Call of Duty were doing that long before them.
But it wasn't esports. There were competitions for sure and tournaments. Yeah. And if we're going to talk about the start of video gaming tournaments, we got to Street Fighter. But as far as like the big esports, that was pioneered by League of Legends and Dota. They're the ones that were paying out $1 million pots, multi-million-dollar pots for playing in tournaments.
But I you know what? I defend the video game community. I love video games. I play video games myself. But I do not agree with the esports thing. I don't think you should get paid millions of dollars for being the fucking weird kid that sat in your mom's basement playing video games all day. Fuck you. You don't deserve it. Just like I don't think chess should be on fucking ESPN. Yes, it's a thinking man's game. It's a great game, but it's not a fucking sport. Get it off of my TV. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't think it deserves the spotlight it gets. I think esports is a stupid idea.
Sells, man. It's whatever sells. They don't give a fuck. So long as money gets raked in, nobody fucking cares what's on the television anymore.
I know.
That's why nobody has.
That's why we don't even have TV.
Nobody has cable. You know, I don't have cable. I don't pay for cable. I pay for Netflix. I pay for Hulu.
I get the Disney Plus.
Arguably, you could say the same thing about real sports. You shouldn't make millions of dollars because you throw ball good.
Yes, you shouldn't. You shouldn't make millions of dollars because you're a good football player. Like fucking even like the offensive line of a football team makes millions of dollars. All they do is push a guy.
No, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I don't think sports athlete I'll argue the point that I don't think anybody in the entertainment industry should make more money than somebody who's willing to lay down their life for others, like, you know, military or law enforcement or firefighters. If you make more money playing throwing a ball or playing a character than these people, there's a problem in society. That's God's honest truth.
That's just straying away from the topic, though.
I'm
actually relatively curious. I'm relatively curious as to see what's next on the list as Zephyr for 2019.
That was pretty much the decade definer. I
gotta be real with you. The games that I played in 2019, old school Castlevania.
I don't think that came out in. There was a
Castlevania anniversary thing that came up, and I bought it for $10, and that's what I played in 2019.
Yeah, the only thing I'm showing on this list, even close to Castlevania.
I'm just saying, like.
What about that Blood of the Night or what is?
Oh yeah, Bloodstained. Bloodstained was definitely a game that came out.
Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Yeah.
Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, Ritual of the Night. Those games came out relatively recently, within the decade, obviously.
Which is literally. Those were literally Castlevania reskinned.
Those were literally Castlevania. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is Castlevania 3 reskinned, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is Castlevania Symphony of the Night reskinned. However, I will say there is a massive difference between Ritual of the Night and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Huge difference. Ritual of the Night is everything that Symphony of the Night wish it could have been.
I don't know. Symphony of the Night was one of those.
That's heavy praise coming from knowing what I know about him in the Castlevania series.
Symphony of the Night is an amazing game.
Symphony of the Night is actually, you know, considered in like the top tiers of video games ever.
Period. Yes, Symphony of the Night is an amazing game. It is really fucking good. But Ritual of the Night blew it out of the water.
I almost think I have to take that game seriously.
It blew it out of the water.
I'll admit I enjoyed watching it.
I loved playing it. It was short. It was really fucking short. But you know what? So Symphony of the Night. It had the same general concept. But the thing is that I went back and continued to just play it and 100% and get all of the collectible blah 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 that you can do and power up all of my shards in the game. And it's one of those games where you'll beat the main storyline in within a day, but there's a bunch of stuff to collect, just like how there was a bunch of stuff to collect in Symphony of the Night.
That explains why you got the window sticker on the back of your car.
Yeah. There's a window sticker on the back of my car. That's literally, I have one for Symphony of the Night and one for Ritual of the Night. Those two are amazingly well done games. And yes, they're both pretty much similar, but I don't know. Ritual of the Night it's within it's like the graphics, how they put the game together. It's a 2D platformer, and how it looks is so good. Bye, Zephyr.
We lost Zephyr.
Zephyr just died.
All right, well that I hate to say it this way, but I was
up?
Well, it pretty much was, because I was just sitting here. Like, the reason I didn't realize he dropped out for whatever reason was because I was sending him a message saying we're at an hour and a half.
He says he lost internet.
Huh. Looks like he lost internet. Are we still recording though?
We are still live. He lost internet. I did not.
That's awesome. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's right. That's right. You are the one who's recording.
Yep.
So we lost our host.
Well,
this is kind of.
So this is Press A Gaming with Dusty. Can I? No.
So,
this is Press A Gaming Player 2.
Welcome to the sock drawer Press A Gaming Edition.
Yes, the sock drawer where all your games that you don't want to press A on wind up at the end.
Oh.
No, but seriously, guys, we might as well wrap this up anyways. As I said, I was sending him a message saying, "Hey, we're at an hour and a half."
Yeah, we did kind of take a while there, didn't we?
Well, I mean, we were trying to define a decade.
You're right.
It takes a while.
This was a special. Yeah. Hey, he's alive.
Hey, I'm back.
Good, you're just in time for the wrap up.
We were just talking about wrapping up.
Oh, sorry. Apparently, my internet decided to go take a vacation.
Somebody took a bullet. Searching for the illegal setups. Somebody took a bullet.
All right, cool. Anyway, so starting into the wrap up. Wild High, where can they find you?
You guys should know by now. You can find me right here on Press A Gaming because I'm the guy that records the shows. Of course, on Realm of the Mist Entertainment in general, like hosting Breaking the Fourth Wall, our interview podcasts. And, of course, you can find me over at our sister channel, Sounds Dicey Gaming, probably doing the Wild High plays, Let's Plays, as well as eventually getting back to the tabletop content of Sounds Dicey Gaming. And, of course, for all your podcasting needs, if you prefer them in audio format, you can find Realm of the Mist Entertainment on Anchor.fm, Apple iTunes, Spotify. Yes, we are back on Spotify, or wherever quality podcasts can be heard.
All right, Salem and Dusty, where can they find you?
Oh, Salem and Dusty, we are the sock drawer.
Yep, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord.
You can find us on all those platforms except for Google Plus. I don't think it exists anymore.
No, basically any place the other guy just said.
Yeah, like literally look for the Realm of the Mist and then go deeper.
And you'll find the sock drawer.
Deeper. We gotta go deeper. We gotta go another dream in. This is Inception. We are the sock drawer Inception edition.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Within Realm of the Mist Entertainment. Well? Hold on. If Realm of the Mist was, a proctology exam, then Press A Gaming would be one knuckle and sock drawer would be two.
I was thinking sock drawer would be like the prostate.
Anyway.
Right here, I should be adding a sound effect for a fucking rubber glove getting snapped.
Chris, did you mention Pandora in that list of things as well? Because I'm pretty sure our podcasts are on there too.
They are?
Did they finally show up on Pandora? I didn't know it finally went through.
I'm pretty sure I searched for them the other day and found them.
Dude, I applied for Pandora like weeks ago and never heard shit about it. So if we're there, right on. We're on Pandora. Look us up.
I gotta go to
We're
Pandora.
probably there too.
I have to look this up before I can confirm it. But if we are, then look for us on Pandora.
Woohoo!
With that being said, I'm your host, Zephyr Zero. This has been another episode of Press A Gaming Podcast. Just always remember to press A for more great gaming content. See you next time.
Later.
Take care.
Bye.
Look for us on Pandora.